all these scenarios have been floated out there for when NBA, if and when, but hopefully when
Yeah.
the NBA resumes. What's the one that you have gravitated to the most so far? Is there one that you like?
That's interesting. I'm not sure there's one that I like besides just things going back to normal in the NBA, letting fans being able to come into the arenas and us having some salvage of a season. The one that I think is unique, the business mind, the Pat Connaughton business mind that comes to the front of my mind is kind of the idea of there's 450 guys in the NBA. I'm not sure how many essential personnel there are, including that. Obviously, coaches, management, training, strength and conditioning. I'm sure there's more that I'm missing. But the fascinating one to me is just finding a way to quarantine the NBA, if you will. Finding a way to take 2 weeks, quarantine the NBA somewhere, somehow, so that you can play games. I think, it would be different. It would be a sacrifice for, players and NBA personnel. You'd have to be away from your family. You'd have to, be by yourself for 2 months probably to finish the season or something. But I also think from a business standpoint, if I take the personal emotions out of it, from a business standpoint, it's something that gives the NBA a spectacle. It's something that gives the NBA viewership back. It's something that can at least give the country some hope on being able to watch a sport that they've grown to love and a league that has become worldwide now. And
would you be comfortable with that, Pat, of still going in, right? You're all tested. At that time, nobody has coronavirus. It's going to be allowed to play, but we still don't know. Right now, there are plenty of people that are probably living with coronavirus that we don't know about right now, but in a week they're gonna be, they're gonna come down with it or be tested for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'd have to put in some pretty heavy protocols. I think first and foremost, I think you'd have to get all 450 and everybody else tested right away. I think you'd have to wait 2 weeks. I mean, look, as long as it doesn't take tests away from the general public and people that actually have the virus, I understand all that. But I think you'd have to wait 2 weeks after you got everyone tested, make sure nobody got it right before or didn't show up on tests, get them retested. And I think if you go through 2 rounds of tests and no one comes out with it, I think you got a chance. I think if anybody comes out with it, can you quarantine them to one hotel? Can you have one specific spot where they are? And I mean, let's call a spade a spade. I think the entire NBA is suffering right now. If you have 1, 2, 3, if it was me personally, I'd take myself out of commission for 2 weeks and make myself suffer while other guys can play games for the betterment of the league. And then I think if you're able to at least control that essential personnel, I think there's a chance where it's like, hey, if no one's come in and no one's come out, if everything that we're touching has been sanitized before we got there, I think there's a way to at least control it. And if nothing else, it's almost a dummy test for the country to see, hey, if we went full quarantine mode to some degree, we can eliminate it. But it also allows the country to have something to watch. It also allows us to continue to play. And from a business standpoint, it allows the NBA to kind of be the front of a professional sports world, which I think Adam's done a great job of making sure that we have been for the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years.